All right, it seems the market has started to rationalize what this DeepSeek thing is about. And you can see that in general, the markets are back green again. You can see in the crypto markets, the market started to recover. You got a whole lot of green bubbles. You got Bitcoin back over 102,000. So Bitcoin looking very strong. And you remember that yesterday I said to you that I read this tweet, and I said in this tweet, I said, it's not about how the market reacts to news, but it's more about how long the market reacts to news that turns out to be way more informative. We're starting to see how the market's reacting to this DeepSeek news, and that could give us a whole lot of signs as to what's going to happen next, whether crypto will actually benefit, which tokens will actually benefit, and whether we can expect more blood on the stock markets after the day that we had yesterday. So now we're going to process how the market is responding to all this data or to DeepSeek and what's going to happen next. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. Obviously, obliterate the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, let's not waste any time. Let's get the show, the full alpha show, on the road. Let's go. More often than not, the actual veracity of the headline is immaterial. It's how the market reacts to the news and for how long that turns out to be a lot more informative than actually what the headlines were yesterday. And if we look at how the market is responding to the news, well, crypto is pretty much green. Bitcoin's back at over 102,000, maybe heading towards 103,000. And now we need to do the body count. We need to understand what's actually going on in the market. Which tokens are going to benefit? Are any tokens going to benefit? Which ones are bouncing the hardest? Why are they bouncing the hardest? What has the market started to realize? What are the things we're learning? You can see the AI agents doing very, very, very well. The meme coins bouncing back, which means that there's the risk trade is coming back on. The base trade is coming back on. 𝗕𝗘𝗕𝗙 up 22.3%. I'll show you exactly why. And we're going to talk about all of these. So if that sounds good to you, what I need you guys to do, obliterate the like button. This is a quick show, but very, very, very high alpha show, because today I'm flying to Dubai for a conference. Tomorrow I'll be coming to you live. I will be here, but I will be live from Dubai. I see there's some people that actually monitor which hotels I go to, and they like rate the hotels in the background. So maybe we can do that tomorrow. You guys can rate the hotel. I won't tell you which hotel I'm staying at. Anyway, let's get into the alpha of the show today. So as I said, the markets are recovering. If you look at Nvidia, we're in the pre-market. It looks like after a crazy day yesterday. I mean, Nvidia, I have to give you guys perspective. Nvidia is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest market one of the biggest markets on the stock market, or companies on the stock market. And this company yesterday lost $590 billion worth of value in one day. It is by far the market's largest one-day loss of a market cap in a single stock in history. $590 billion was actually wiped off Nvidia yesterday. And I tweeted this yesterday, but I think we need to take a moment to just reflect on this. Given that the darling stock of AI, which is the darling narrative of the cycle, was down 16 or 17% yesterday and wiped off 550 or 590 billion off its market cap, I think that Bitcoin held extremely well. Yes, we dipped down to 97,000, but that was very, very, very brief. We spent most of the day at 98 and at 99,000. And actually, we landed up closing the day at above 101,000. I think that this is a testament to how strong Bitcoin actually is. And if you want to understand the demand for Bitcoin, or how insulated Bitcoin's become, what you should probably look at is MicroStrategy. Even after everything that happened yesterday, MicroStrategy was only down 1.63%. That shows you how resilient Bitcoin has actually become, and that investors, and specifically TradFi investors, are basically saying, look, Bitcoin is no longer this volatile asset that has to move whenever anything moves. Bitcoin is now becoming a real store of value. The other one that I was kind of impressed with was ETH. I mean, I was watching ETH. ETH also had it didn't go too badly down, went just under $3,000. Now we're back at around $3,200. So I think just shows you the strength of the crypto market. Another encouraging sign that I saw, Meta, Facebook, actually up yesterday, up 2%, which means that the market was mature enough to separate those that would be affected from DeepSeek with those that would not be affected from DeepSeek. And you can see the same thing. If you look at Apple, the market was smart enough to say, hold on, DeepSeek is actually good for Apple, not bad for Apple. And Therefore, Apple actually went up yesterday, I was expecting a lot more blood on the markets yesterday. We didn't get it. We got some blood on Nvidia. In fact, the majority of the blood was Nvidia. The rest of the blood came in all these Nvidia, in all these proxies. So Nvidia took a big loss, 556 billion. Broadcom Incorporated, Taiwan Semiconductor, Microsoft because of its deal with OpenAI, Google down, and the rest were pretty much, if you want to call it that, rats and mice. And so the good thing is that the market actually contained this issue. The market was smart enough that it actually contained this issue. And so what we're saying now is exactly what we said in the beginning of the show. The idea is to see how the market reacts and for how long. And what you can see now is that the bubbles are green again, and the market seem to be wanting to open up, or they will be opening up. I think, again, this was a textbook flush for crypto. Textbook bottom in for Bitcoin yesterday. CME open interest de-risked massively. Biggest notional unwind. Let's quickly just go and look at Velo. Let's quickly go to Velo TradFi, and we could just look at the CME interest. Let's go. There we go. And let's go to Bitcoin. And let's just quickly click on the TradFi link here. There we go, TradFi link here. So we did have a huge deleveraging yesterday. Just look at, you can kind of see it in the lines over there. We had a huge deleveraging yesterday this was like a real flush out. I know also that the ETFs, if you look at the ETFs yesterday, I think $500 million was sold yesterday in the Bitcoin ETF. If you look at the ETH ETF, $136 million, which on a relative basis is actually much bigger than the sellout in Bitcoin. Because remember, Bitcoin's market cap is 6 times the size of ETH's market cap. So you're talking about people went and sold out of risk. And so now I think the market's had time to rationalize, and I think calm's been brought into the market. And if we look at the futures, let's quickly go to the NASDAQ futures just to see before the market open where the market looks like it wants to open, or it's going to open up or flat, basically up. So the panic has been contained. What we also saw yesterday was that DeepSeek didn't stop with their first iteration, which was the ChatGPT. They then later on in the day announced that they dropped another open source model, which is the equivalent, which includes image generation, which is similar to DALL-E or something like that. So now you've got the ChatGPT, and then you've got the image generator. And so it looks like they're building a whole suite of products, and the market has to rationalize around the whole suite of products. Let's talk about the market rationalization, because I think that's what we're here to talk about. So what did they rationalize, and what were the conclusions that the market actually came to yesterday as it relates to DeepSeek? First thing is, I love this tweet. It said the China effect, $1 trillion in market cap just got wiped off just like that. That was huge. OpenAI is now closed AI, and DeepSeek is now open AI, which is ironic because Elon's been saying for a while that OpenAI is not really open, it's closed AI. And it's ironic that bad, evil China has dropped DeepSeek, which is actually completely open AI. Elon Musk's Wi-Fi satellites have nothing on China satellites. Huawei has better OS and understanding and tech features. Basically, the markets realize, beware of China. Don't underestimate what these Chinese people are doing. And I said it to you guys yesterday. The worst thing that you can do to an enemy or an adversary is make them desperate. Because desperate people do stupid things. Desperate people do amazing things. And I think what Trump realized yesterday, to get the president of the United States saying something like this.
The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win, because we have the greatest scientists in the world. Even Chinese leadership told me that. They said, you have the most brilliant scientists in the world in Seattle and various places. But Silicon Valley, they said, there's nobody like those people. This is very unusual when you hear a DeepSeek, when you hear somebody come up with something. We always have the ideas. We're always first. So I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less, and you'll come up with, hopefully, the same solution under the Trump administration.
I think if you listen between the lines, Trump kind of admitted defeat. He admitted that in this that China caught them off guard, and that they have no excuse, that they should be laser focused because they have the greatest scientists in the world. But it seems like they got caught off guard and they became a little bit complacent. David Sachs is pushing this in the Biden administration. He's saying DeepSeek shows that the AI race will be very competitive, and that President Trump was right to rescind the Biden executive order which hamstrung American AI companies. I don't think it's that. I think it's just general American complacency, as has been the culture in the last 4 years. And I think that now America is being forced to understand that even with the bullying tactics, even with the tariffs, even with the sanctions, China will actually make way. Then you had Sam Altman. He says, DeepSeek's R1 is an impressive model, particularly around what they've been able to deliver for the price. We will obviously deliver much better models, and also it's legit invigorating to me to have a new competitor. We will pull up some releases. But mostly we're excited to execute on our new research roadmap and believe more compute is more important for now than ever. The world is going to want a lot of AI and really be quite amazed by the next generation modeling that's coming. So he's admitting that he's invigorated by the fact that he was complacent and now he has another competitor in the market, which is China. NVIDIA also came out with a statement. They said DeepSeek's worth shows how models can be created, leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant. What does this mean? NVIDIA seems to be saying that DeepSeek is advancing AI by using widely available technology while adhering to the regulatory standards. DeepSeek is changing the AI game. And what NVIDIA actually came out and said is, well, you know what? Great for DeepSeek that they used this technology and that they did so well, but now they're going to have to buy more chips because they're already not coping with the demand. So this means more NVIDIA cells. Again, I think that all of these guys got caught off guard. NVIDIA got caught off guard. Trump got caught off guard. The Americans got caught off guard. And I think they're now realizing that, they actually have an adversary in the race. Basically what Mark Andreessen said, it's a Sputnik moment for AI. It's a Sputnik moment for the race. And you know what? Competition makes us all healthy. You know what happens with competition? Consumers get new, free, open source products, where before they would have to pay closed source products and then they'd have to pay high stuff. So for us as the users, this is the best thing that ever could have happened. Why? Because now we're getting cheaper AI that's coming into the market much quicker and much more affordably. And all that has caused is that it's caused a repricing in the market. I've said before, I think that NVIDIA was overpriced. I think the assumptions around NVIDIA that they wouldn't have a competitor for years and years and years were overpriced. And now what you can see is if you look at the repricing, this shows the repricing of the NVIDIA price earnings ratio. And you can see that now the price earnings ratio has actually come back to normality, whereas before it was very, very, very overpriced. Now it's come back actually to normality. And here's a different chart that actually shows exactly the same. So you can see the PE ratio before, the PE ratio was pretty high, and it just went back down to around 46. And so it's just bringing the price earnings ratio back and bringing the market back into normality. And the truth is that what I think's happened is we dodged a bullet. This could have been a much broader market sell-off. It wasn't. It was confined to NVIDIA. It was confined to the tokens or the stocks that were actually affected as per this list. And now we can get back to business as the market processes the data. Now, do I think it's the end of the pain? I think it's the end of the panic. The markets could go down, the markets could go up, but the panic is over. And now we're starting to understand who the real winners are and who are not the real winners. And I think the real winners are exactly what the founders of Palantir said, right? Because they said a long time ago, they said, AI models are going to become commodities and the value will accrue on the application layer or the workflow layer above. You need ontology security to ensure that LLMs can only see what they can see, not CCP. So Palantir actually landed up calling this right. But I think this is very, very, very good for crypto, because what crypto has now realized is that A, we've got a crypto czar and we've got an AI czar. He announces a $500 billion AI fund. And now the next thing that happens is China launches a free model, which now has the US, which is going to double down on getting its winning position back in crypto. And as I said, competition is extremely healthy. It's also brought DePin into the spotlight. As you can see, Chamat was talking about this. Vinny says, when do you think companies will become more comfortable using decentralized AI protocols like Render versus building their own data centers? It feels like the same resistance we saw moving to the cloud in the late 2000s. If you no longer need NVIDIA GPUs, then a DePin strategy is very viable. If you need NVIDIA GPUs, you get NVIDIA GPUs and you keep them in your own data center because you don't want to share those with anyone. But if you can use any GPU, then the biggest winners here are the decentralized GPU companies, right? Because again, just think about it like this. If there's only a limited amount of H100s in the market, and you can get yourself H100s, you're going to put them into a data center and you're going to close that data center and no one's going to get any access to a data center because you need to use whatever you can get. But if there's a model that can use any kind of GPU, then you're just going to go and the GPUs are available. Why build a data center? Just use distributed GPUs. This could be the aha moment for distributed GPUs. We always thought that the distributed GPU model was around H100s, but then there was a race to get the H100s. And if you got the H100s, why make them available? And that is where the GPU providers, the distributed GPU providers, were actually fighting. This changes the game. And the game says that, hey, it doesn't have to be H100. It can be any chip that can train these AI models. And so it's opened up the world of inference and trainings. Decentralized AI can now viably be built with DePin. And it's not just the compute layer. So it's all about saying, now the biggest gainer of this, and the market I don't think has caught onto this yet, is that the biggest gainer here is actually the decentralized GPUs. And I think I agree with Vinny here, which says that this is the aha moment that happens. And it feels like the same resistance we saw moving to the cloud. And for those of you who weren't around, because I know a lot of you are quite young, but before the cloud, every company had its own servers. And literally, you'd like save stuff to your company server. And I know it sounds like completely obscene when you can just save it to the cloud, but there was a lot of resistance moving to the cloud. And this could be the moment where you say, you know what, I don't need to own my own data center. I don't need to own my own servers. I don't need to do that. I can just, because I don't need a specific GPU, I can just outsource it. And to that end, I think the biggest winners here could be 𝗥𝗢𝗡. And as I said, I don't think the market's actually noticed this yet. But I mean, they were one of the first guys to immediately create an offer, deploy DeepSeek R100s, R1 on 𝗥𝗢𝗡 for $800 a month, fully dedicated, zero downtime. Also, as I said before, people are already starting to deploy it. And if you look at 𝗥𝗢𝗡 is right now the biggest DePin revenue company in the market. So Render is less than 𝗥𝗢𝗡. And if you look at the market cap of 𝗥𝗢𝗡 is a much, much, much smaller market cap than Render. And these guys are the real deal. Like these guys, I know them. I'm an investor in 𝗥𝗢𝗡. It's the real deal. The fully diluted market cap is $608 million. And I think Render is slightly higher than that. Let's have a look here. Render. So Render has a market cap of $3 billion, right? So that's like one of the ones that I'd be looking at if you believe in this narrative. And I think the market will eventually catch up to this narrative is to go for the 𝗥𝗢𝗡, maybe the Renders of the world. I'm not a big fan of decentralized file storage around the way that these guys do it. So yeah, but that's the other one. The other one is 𝗙𝗓𝗓. 𝗙𝗓𝗓, the guys were actually here. They're actually in Cape Town. They were in our offices earlier. I asked the guys, I said, guys, what do you think of DeepSeek? They said, best thing to ever happen to crypto. Why? We can now build much better solutions, much cheaper, much more distributed in an open source way. Dream come true. And they've already also provided support for DeepSeek. And they've got, I mean, you can actually even go to their thing and you can create a job for DeepSeek, and you can actually create a job. You can see R1 Llama, which is the R1 papers. So as the says, sometimes what's bad news for some players in AI is very good for others. 𝗙𝗓𝗓 AI runs groundbreaking and efficient DeepSeek models on their network, cheaper than anywhere else. So 𝗙𝗓𝗓 is another one that could actually catch a good bid here if the narrative actually catches on. Let's just quickly see how 𝗙𝗓𝗓 is trading. I don't think the market's caught onto this trade, or the market's just saying, look, we're not ready for DePin yet. But at some point, I think we're starting to realize now that DePin is the actual place. So that's another one that I actually would be looking at. You can look at things like IONET, and right now, I'm in the midst of understanding all these providers. We're doing a deep dive report on 𝗥𝗢𝗡 versus ARs versus IONET versus all of them. To me, IONET's not a blockchain project. I don't understand how they use blockchain. I am doing more research, but I don't understand how IONET actually uses blockchain. They're not a blockchain. They're not a blockchain company. They're just a distributed compute company. And I'm struggling to understand what the actual blockchain application is other than the token. BitTensor, so you've got DeepSeek integrated into two subnets of BitTensor. Pal AI, also one that we keep, we are following. Let's just quickly look at the price of Pal AI. I think it's around 30 cents. 27 cents. So 27 cents. It's recovered 16% today. So, I mean, just following a general market recovery. Also one that is integrated with DeepSeek. I also want to talk to you about another very interesting project. The project is a new project. It was actually launched yesterday. Now, I don't know if it was fate, destiny, or whether it was just luck, or whether they actually expedited their launch yesterday. But there is a project that I want to put onto your radar. So who is the project? The token is called VVV. And VVV is, it's called Venice Protocol. And it's the person that launched or founded Venice Protocol is 𝗕𝗢𝗙𝗢𝗡. Now, for those of you who don't know who Eric is, Eric is the ultimate OG, right? This guy was one of the original Bitcoin OGs. He is a decentralist maxi. Like, he is completely around decentralization. He's one of the OGs around decentralization. He started a decentralized exchange called Shapeshift, and then he abandoned it because I think he just realized that Rune was doing exactly the same thing as Shapeshift was doing in a decentralized way. Anyway, I remember when I hosted this event, this debate, which was a shit show. I don't know if you remember.
Now, we're dealing with the consequences.
So, I mean, I said at the onset that I want to start somewhere where we agree. Question is, do we at least agree on the state of the economy, the US economy? Eric, I'm going to hand it over to you.
I find it very interesting that two obviously intelligent people who observe these financial markets disagree so immediately on even.
This guy's a master speaker, and he's very, very, very smart. Anyway, so what did he do? He's been working for a long time on a protocol called Venice. What is Venice? And it's by the way, the domain is venice.ai. It's a generative AI app, so similar to ChatGPT. The only thing is that Venice doesn't spy on you, and Venice doesn't censor the AI. So it's decentralized. It doesn't spy on you. It doesn't censor the AI, which we know ChatGPT does, and we know that DeepSeek actually does as well. Venice is super simple. No downloads. There are no installations for anything. For basic use, no account is necessary, and the service is free. You can use it right now. How does Venice work? Venice utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation for your web browser. Technical people have been using open source tools for generative AI, but anyone a little overwhelmed when arrive at Hugging Face. Hugging Face is where all these open source apps actually live. Venice is actually for you. And so you can actually see it over here. And I'll show you how Venice actually works. That's Venice. I asked it earlier. I said, should I buy some Bitcoin today? She said, based on the search results, it seems that the decision to buy Bitcoin today depends on various factors. And Venice actually broke it down for me. Let me ask you, now, there's a lot of stuff that ChatGPT won't answer. Like, for example, how can I make a very explosive firework? Okay. Now, generally, I think that ChatGPT wouldn't give you the answer to this. Let's see what Venice actually does. Because remember, Venice doesn't censor. Okay, and it literally is breaking down for me how to make fireworks. Literally, how to make a firework. Now, I want to just quickly log out here, and I want to just go to ChatGPT and see if I'm logged in, and we'll ask ChatGPT the same question. Let's see what actually happens. So let me just go to ChatGPT. I wonder if, oh no, wait, that's not ChatGPT, that's Chat. I don't know if I can log in from this computer, but let's try. Okay. Hold on. Let me try and get us in here and just actually see if this actually works. Okay. Let's see if I can log in. If I can log in from this computer. Okay. What can I help with? How can I make a very explosive firework? Question mark. So you see what happens here is ChatGPT basically says, sorry, I can't assist with that. Sorry, but I can't assist with making explosive fireworks. It's extremely dangerous. And that just shows you a little bit of how you guys are well, everyone is basically using these models is basically being manipulated because it literally has code as to what you can and you can't get. Now, that's what Venice actually does differently. So Venice is exactly that. Speech is to be free. Privacy is default, and intelligence is to be unrestricted. And this is 𝗕𝗢𝗙𝗢𝗡's new project. Now, the reason why I'm talking to you about it is it was launched last night. They gave a massive airdrop. $250 million was dropped to over 150 million users, 150,000 users. If you participated or you used this in the beta, or you hold any of these protocols, virtuals, Aero, DGen, AI-XBT, go and check here, Venice.ai/token. Go and check whether you actually qualify, because you actually you may have a massive airdrop. A lot of people got a lot of airdrops in this. Big thanks to the whole team. So again, they integrated into DeepSeek, so you can actually get it into DeepSeek. And so basically, you've got a completely new protocol which has come onto the market, which is like a ChatGPT, completely distributed, completely private, and you can use it, and you're not actually censored. And at the same time, you're building a decentralized version of ChatGPT, which I think we're now realizing is exactly where you want to see. Just to give you some stats, the project is now trading at a fully diluted valuation of 1.5 billion. I don't know if I'd go out and buy this token, but you may actually have a whole lot of tokens in your wallet that you don't actually know about. And that's what I want you to go and check. So remember, if you used number one, go and try it out. It's Venice.ai. The next one is go and check if you've got any of these tokens in your wallet, virtuals, 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓, DGen, AI-XBT, Game, Luna, 𝗬𝗓𝗘𝗡. I've got a lot of these in my wallet. Then you may actually be able to get the airdrop. Cool, so that is the market and how the market's been responding. I do want to remind you, tomorrow we have a very, very, very big event. We have an FOMC meeting. It's the first FOMC meeting where Trump is president. And I think I read this, which is very cool. It said, this will be the first formal FOMC meeting of Donald Trump's second term. Expect Powell to deflect and dodge questions about the Fed's independence and potential, and political meddling into the monetary policy. Likewise, Powell is likely to re-emphasize that the central bank does not try and predict future policies and only respond to economic impact. These types of questions will be inevitable and will be a talking point. So it's quite a big FOMC tomorrow. I won't be here. I won't be here in the next FOMC because I'm going to be in Dubai and it's very late at night. If I'm awake, I'll log on. Otherwise, Fefe and Dylan and Sheldon are going to be on and they're going to be trading it live. Currently, I see that there's a 98% chance of no increase. So I think we're not going to a decrease. I don't think we're going to get a rate decrease tomorrow. Yeah, that's that. I do want to remind you also that if you want to join Sheldon's sniper school, the event, the welcome event actually happens in a couple of hours. But you can actually still make it. Like, so if you go to the link below, which is this link over here, just everything you need to know about trading with Sniper School, click that. You can actually still make it for tonight's course. Make it for tonight's course. If you don't like it, then just don't carry on. And if you do like it, then do carry on. Otherwise, I will see you guys again tomorrow where you guys can rate my hotel room. Until then, trade well, my friends.